A racist judge mocked a black teenager in court. He had no idea she was about to expose his bias and change the course of the trial forever. The story begins in a small, stuffy courtroom in Birmingham, Alabama. The air is tense as 17-year-old Maya Johnson sits in the back row, nervously clutching her notebook. She's there to support her older brother, Marcus, who's been wrongfully accused of stealing from a local convenience store. The store owner, a white man named Mr. Thompson, claims Marcus was the only one in the store that night. But Maya knows her brother. He's hardworking, honest, and would never do something like this. As the hearing begins, the judge, Robert Hargrove, a middle-aged man with a stern expression, glances at Maya and smirks. When Marcus stands to speak, the judge cuts him off mid-sentence, saying, "Young man, you people always have an excuse, don't you?" The comment stings, but Marcus stays silent, knowing arguing could make things worse. Maya, however, feels her blood boil. She's heard stories about Judge Hargrove's bias, but seeing it firsthand is different. When Maya raises her hand to ask a question about the evidence, the judge dismisses her with a wave. "Little girl, this isn't a school project. Sit down and let the adults handle this," he says, chuckling. The prosecutor and even some people in the audience laugh along. Maya's face burns with embarrassment, but more than that, she's angry. Angry at the judge for mocking her, angry at the system for assuming her brother's guilt, and angry at the world for treating people like her as less than human. The problem is clear. Racism and bias are alive and well in this courtroom. The evidence against Marcus is flimsy. No fingerprints, no surveillance footage, just the word of Mr. Thompson, who admits he didn't actually see Marcus take anything. Yet, the judge seems ready to convict Marcus based on stereotypes alone. Maya knows her brother is innocent, but in a system stacked against him, proving it feels impossible. As the hearing drags on, Maya notices something odd. The prosecutor keeps referencing a mysterious witness who claims to have seen Marcus near the store that night, but the witness' identity is being kept secret. Maya's instincts tell her something's off. Why would a witness need to be hidden unless they're lying? She scribbles notes furiously, her mind racing. This isn't just about Marcus anymore. It's about exposing the truth and holding people accountable. The challenge is set. Maya must find a way to prove her brother's innocence in a system that's already decided he's guilty. But how can a 17-year-old girl with no legal training take on a corrupt judge and a biased prosecutor? The odds are stacked against her, but Maya isn't the type to back down. Maya leaves the courtroom that day with a fire burning inside her. She knows she can't sit back and let her brother take the fall for something he didn't do. But as a 17-year-old with no legal authority, her options are limited. That's when she remembers her father's old law books, gathering dust in the attic. Her dad, a civil rights attorney who passed away when she was 12, always told her, "The law is a tool, Maya. Use it to fight for what's right." Now it's time to put those words into action. Maya spends the next few days buried in her father's books, studying everything from criminal procedure to evidence law. She also starts researching Judge Hargrove and the prosecutor, Linda Carter. What she finds shocks her. Judge Hargrove has a history of handing down harsher sentences to black defendants, and Linda Carter has been accused of withholding evidence in past cases. Maya realizes this isn't just about Marcus. It's about a broken system that needs to be exposed. Her first breakthrough comes when she revisits the convenience store where the theft allegedly occurred. The store's security camera is broken, but Maya notices a small coffee shop across the street with a working camera. She convinces the owner, an elderly woman named Mrs. Patel, to let her review the footage from that night. What she sees changes everything. Marcus was never near the store. Instead, the footage shows a white man in a suit sneaking into the store's back entrance around the same time the theft occurred. Maya digs deeper and discovers the man in the footage is Gregory Miller, a local businessman who's been struggling financially. She connects the dots. Miller likely stole the money to cover his debts and framed Marcus to avoid suspicion. But how can she prove it? She needs more evidence, and time is running out. Marcus' next hearing is in 3 days. Maya decides to take a bold step. She disguises herself as a young attorney, borrowing a blazer and glasses from a thrift store, and visits the courthouse to access public records. She finds a document showing that Gregory Miller and Mr. Thompson, the store owner, are old friends. This explains why Thompson was so quick to accuse Marcus he was protecting Miller. With this new information, Maya prepares to confront the real thief and expose the truth in court. But she knows it won't be easy. She's up against a biased judge, a ruthless prosecutor, and a system designed to keep people like her silent. Still, Maya is determined to fight, not just for Marcus, but for everyone who's been wronged by a system that doesn't see them as equal. The day of Marcus' final hearing arrives, and the courtroom is packed. Maya, now dressed in a sharp blazer and glasses, sits quietly in the front row, her heart pounding. She's no longer the little girl the judge mocked. She's a young woman ready to fight for justice. When the judge calls the case, Maya stands up and announces, "Your Honor, you'll be representing Marcus Johnson today." The room erupts in murmurs. Judge Hargrove narrows his eyes and says, "Young lady, this is highly irregular. Do you even have a law degree?" Maya responds calmly, "Your Honor, I may not have a degree, but I have the truth, and that's all that matters." The judge reluctantly allows her to proceed, clearly underestimating her. Maya begins by cross-examining Mr. Thompson, the store owner. She asks him pointed questions about his relationship with Gregory Miller, the man caught on the coffee shop surveillance footage. At first, Thompson denies knowing Miller, but Maya presents the documents she found, proving they've been friends for years. Thompson stammers, his story unraveling under Maya's relentless questioning. Next, Maya calls Mrs. Patel, the coffee shop owner, to the stand. Mrs. Patel confirms the footage shows Marcus was never near the store that night. Instead, it clearly shows Gregory Miller sneaking into the store's back entrance. The prosecutor, Linda Carter, objects, but Maya counters, "Your Honor, this footage proves my brother's innocence." Why is the prosecution so eager to hide it? Finally, Maya turns to the judge and says, "Your Honor, this isn't just about Marcus. It's about a system that assumes guilt based on the color of someone's skin. It's about a judge who mocks a teenager instead of seeking justice. And it's about a prosecutor who's more interested in winning than finding the truth." The courtroom falls silent. Judge Hargrove, visibly shaken, has no choice but to dismiss the case against Marcus. As the gavel comes down, Marcus hugs Maya, tears streaming down his face. The audience erupts in applause, but Maya's work isn't done. She turns to Gregory Miller, who's sitting in the back, and says, "You thought you could get away with this, but the truth always comes out." The moment is electric. Maya's courage and intelligence have not only saved her brother, but also exposed the corruption and bias in the system. It's a victory, but also a reminder of how much work still needs to be done. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and subscribe for more powerful moral stories.